So complementary things are not the same. They are different. You can see this is that and the other one is 60. So they're not the same. But what do they do when you bring them together? There is a goal they achieve. Yeah, they help each other. Yes, to become 90. So different or doing something different, making them a good combination. Making them a good, but they are different. But when they come together, they make something good. So the suitable partner for me or for you will be first of all complementary to me. It will be making me complete, meaning what I don't have is what they have, and what I have is what they don't have. At least that gives us an idea. And let me demonstrate now in the practical life. For example, let me ask you now if you have gotten this concept. If, for example, if you find the man is expressive, very expressive, for the complementary partner, a suitable helper. What do they need? What do they need? They need a partner who is like what? Very expressive or more expressive or reserved. Those are the choices. They need what? Yes, a reserved person. And look now, remember all the couples you know. Look at the way imagine how they look like. Maybe even starting from your own home. If one is expressive, the other one is what? Yes, almost 100%. I'm saying almost. How does that happen? Nature addresses this formula. And sometimes we are not even aware, but nature just took its course. And this is how happens, how nature takes its course. Imagine now, two very expressive people meet over a cup of tea or whatever. What will happen? Imagine now, just imagine, these are two expressive people that have met. A man and a girl, a man and a lady. What happens? They are too expressive. Because it's like all audience and no, so all speakers and no audience. How does it look like? It's like a studio, Kama wako kwa studio. Hapa kwa hapa. Until nobody will actually make even their points because the other one is burning with theirs, like this. So at the end of the day, they are so tired, and they don't know what made them tired. But they are not even aware. So when they part, they don't meet again over another cup of tea. That is nature taking its course. But if you ask them, what happened? They also don't know. Lakini mimi niliboeka. Uliboeka kwa nini? They don't even know why. Another scenario. Two very reserved people, and a man and a lady, they meet over maybe a cup of tea again. What do you expect? Can you try, stay near them and view, observe what is going to happen? You know the reserved person, this is it's a natural disposition. It's not choice. They don't, by the way, they don't even know, because even knowing yourself is also very difficult, by the way, as we're going to see. If I asked you whether you are expressive or you don't even know, by the way, how are you? What's your nature? What is your disposition? What are your weak points? What are your strong points? And by the way, who are you? Without us telling me your name. Let's start there, by the way. Because until we get the personal capacity, the individual, we will not be addressing this issue. And we get the real person and their issues, because that's the chain now, specifically. Until we do that, we are not really solving the problem. So who are you? I don't know your name. Somebody want to try that? Give an answer. Who are you? Without telling me your name. Because your name is not you, by the way. You can even stay without a name. After all, that name like Maina now, so many are Maina, so I'm not Maina. In fact, I'm not. But when people call Maina, I check whether it is Maina me. Then I see they are not looking at me, they enjoy Maina mwingine wanaita. So who are you? Huh? We have to get to that specific level so that we can now really be talking to you as an individual. Then you can see this specificity in your need or your requirement or what you need individually or personally. Who are you? What are your strengths? Do you know them? What are your weakness, challenges? Do you even know them? What are your habits? You don't even know them. What are your attitudes? And remember, we said you are like a chain. So, you don't know until you know how you are, the condition of your chain. You don't know what you need then. You don't actually know what you need. And it's a matter of time and a strain will be put and then you just see your chain break and you don't even understand how. Don't understand. So that's what we are saying. It's you as an individual. It's me as an individual. When it comes now to partnering, who are you? How are you? What do you have? What don't you have? That's what we're asking. So for that that analysis form, it's called the SWOT analysis. Some of you know SWOT analysis. Sure, it's commonly done. How many have the SWOT? SWOT analysis. Aye, nafikiri mmeisikia. How many have had it? Yeah, I can see a few had. Yeah. S, if we had a board, no, but I don't need. S stands for what? Strength. W is what? Weaknesses. O stands for what? Opportunities. T stands for what? Threats. Now, if we can carry out a personal SWOT analysis, because that's where we are, of your chain, then we will be able to identify personally what your strengths are. Personally, what your weaknesses or challenges are. If we can get what your strengths are, we can be able to identify now, because of this strength, these are your opportunities. The O. S goes with opportunities. Like what we said, it is S is the capacity. The strengths are the capacity. They attract particular opportunities. W is weaknesses. They determine what is threatening. What is a threat to you? Or to this organization, whether it's the organization or the individual. The principle would work. It's only when you have an idea of what the strengths are, whether it's an institution or an individual, that you can know what opportunities they can take on. The opportunity depends on the strength. Just like what we said, opportunities depend on capacity. Opportunity that you cannot match, that you cannot address, that you cannot supply, it is not yours. So the weaknesses again, they point to what? To what are the possible threats for that organization or for that individual. So it's until we know ourselves, we know what strengths we have, what weaknesses we have, that we can have an idea of who would actually help us. So for example, for an expressive person, now for marriage purposes, not for business. For business is a different combination, by the way. And I'll tell you why that usually causes some confusion, even affects marriage sometimes. What is the business partner that you need is not the thing again. It's not the description that will defeat the marriage partner. It's very different. And that also causes confusion in many homes. Unakuta a business partner ameharibu boma ya mtu. I'll tell you why if we get that time. So we are saying it is this nature, the natural disposition which praises you, that in your behavior, that will tell you what actually would match you or the helper that will be suitable for you. And that's the person the prophet is calling complementary. Makes you complete. And when it is complementary, that's the Pareto formula, That's when 2 can be equal to 1. It means these items, they must be fractions. A plus B is equal to 1. A and B must be what? Fractions. Si ni kweli? Ama ninaharibu mambo na si ni kweli? Wasomi tafadhali. Saidie huyu mzee. A plus B is equal to 1. What must be A and B? They must be fractions. So, if I have a quarter of something, what do I need to be complete? I have to look for somebody with 3 quarters of that whatever item it is. Eh? Ni kweli? Then it will be equal to 1. Eh? Si ni kweli? Hapa nafikiri tunakubaliana. So, if I'm expressive, I cannot get an expressive person. Sababu hatusaidiana, tutasubuana. Si ni kweli? Kwa nyumba inakaa kama studio. Kila mtu na hadithi yake na hakuna mtu anasikiza ya mwingine. Mpaka mtu anaanza kutafuta mtu mwingine wakati wa kuongea. Na anatafutaga yule aka complimentary pia. It is very funny. These are natural laws. You cannot do anything about it. So, that's what happens now. That gives us a hint. If only you can understand who you are. And you are who God made you. What you have naturally given to you is what defines you. What you are made by God. What you are given naturally. That package is what makes you you. So when you ask who you are, that's who you are. So if you understand that, then you can now know, this is the way I am. I'm reserved. So even without knowing, you'll have an idea. The person that, the other package, wherever it is, it will have be complementary. Yes. And the prophet, there's a great statement that when it comes from the prophet, that you look for that complementary person. Now, when you don't know how you are, who is now complementary to you, you cannot tell. That's why, again, we need the capacity to understand who we are. If you just note down, because of time, if you read in a message of It is Rising of the Sun, that is 650418M, just note down, 650418M. If you read paragraph 310, 65-0418M, that is It is the Rising of the Sun. In paragraph 310, the prophet tells us what helps us to know ourselves, to identify ourselves, and know what is wrong with us, and how things will be. We can even know what it will be. Even our future is a quickening power. So the quickening power gives us discernment. Yes? To know what is even wrong with us, what happened to us, what went wrong with us, and what we can do to correct that wrong. So the moment we know what is wrong with us, we will know what is our challenges. What is the problem with our chains, personal. And then you know what even to go and ask for when we go to in prayer. And then when we understand how we are clearly as the personality, we have an idea of the kind of a person that will be a helper to us, that will be suitable help for us. When we get the right partner, without this understanding that we're talking about, we still don't enjoy. You know why? When you're doing the courtship, you'll be enjoying. And you'll not be knowing why you're enjoying. You not understand why you're enjoying. You don't enjoy, the mind will not be understanding. Nature is taking its course, and everything is going right naturally. But your mind is not aware. Is not aware of what really is happening. And why you enjoy when you meet, you also may never understood. It is because you are complementary in your disposition, in your nature. So the nature is supposed to be contrasting in a complementary manner, but the character is what is supposed to be in common. So the character is supposed to be the same or fairly the same, But but the nature, which is your disposition, the inborn, the inherited nature, is supposed to be complementary. Sometimes we confuse. You find you have married somebody who the nature is the same. That will not make a good partner in marriage. And maybe the character is the same and nature is the same. The problem is that you not enjoy. You not be happy with that marriage. And you don't know why you are not being happy. The people could be very good people. But whenever they meet, they are not happy. They try to talk and they are not enjoying. They don't even know what is wrong. And these are good people. We are saying now very good people. The nature must be contrasted, must be complementary. Nature. But the character should be fairly the same. I hope everybody is following. That's why I've demonstrated. If an expressive person, somebody who can easily talk, express themselves, marries or are put together with another very expressive person, nature in them that is not happy. There's too much of one thing. Hiyo story ni mingi zaidi. Na hakuna mtu usikiza ya mwingi. Everybody is on fire with na story yake. But I had demonstrated the two when the two who are the same went to come together. But at that time where you find the contrasting one meet, an expressive person, a good expressive person, and another good reserved person. Let them meet over a cup of tea. One is a very good speaker. The other one is a very good audience. They don't even know how time passes. Unakuta story ndio hiyo. Hakuna mtu anajuanga by the way what is happening. But the head thing is that they just know they felt good. Why they felt good, they are not aware. That's another issue. But they just know they felt good. Nature was happy. Nature enjoyed because of the complementarity. Yes. Where one was speaking, very good at speaking, the other is very good at listening. And they were not tired of listening because it's natural to them. So they're not pretending. They are comfortable. They're even happy doing it, by the way. And that's why there was a problem when the two reserved people met. Because even coming up with a topic, it takes a lot of energy from a reserved person. Topic peke yake. Anastruggle. Hapo akisema sasa unaona kama vile kuna COVID. That is a lot of energy to say that. To figure out a topic. And then the other one is so reserved. Anasema ni kweli. Alafu ananyamaza. Wanakaa mpaka ile kikombe imeisha. Wanaitisha ingine. By the time they are clearing 2 or so cups, hakuna kitu ya maana wamesema. So they don't want to meet again, but they don't know what is wrong. They don't know what is happening. They are not, in fact, they don't, because they first of all don't know themselves. So the individuals are not aware how they are, or what they are not, or how they are not. They just know the feeling. Me, nilisikia kuboeka. But they are not qualified. Hii kuboeka hawasemi vizuri ilitoka wapi. Labda ndiye alikosa. Lakini hana habari kwa sababu hata yeye hajuangi kwanza ako reserved. Aliona mimi tukianga na huyo mtu hata sipatagi story. Kwa nini upati? Uliwahi kujiuliza? Kwa nini upati? Upati tu namna ya bana? To every effect there is a cause. So what causes it? That's very important. So na mkiwa na fulani mnakuwa na story. And because you don't know, fulani yeye ndio huwa na story na wewe huna habari. So mnakuwa na story sana na fulani, lakini sio wewe unakuwa na story. Wewe you are very good listener. A very good audience. Yeye ndiye anakuwa na story. But because you don't know how you are, wewe unajua tu mimi hufurahia tukiwa na fulani. Na sifurahiagi tukiwa na fulani. Why? That's very important. That's what we are talking about. And now when we have this understanding, it is not going to stop only at the pairing up. It's going to go all the way up to the home, that when you see the contrasts here and there, you'll not be complaining. Because soon after the wedding, people start now again. The same thing that attracted them to each other, naturally. They start now again cursing it. They fight over the same thing that attracted them to each other. Imagine. Because they are unlike, in this time, in nature, in their natures, the unlike attracts. But in character, the likes attract. I hope you are getting that pattern. Jesus is looking for his character. Yes. But they have to be contrasting. Ndio siingiane. It's like the tessellation, eh? Hii kama inatoshana na hii hiyo ingiane, si ndio? Ama? Yes. Meno hiyo ndio ingiane, lazima iwe opposite. For example, hearts. Look at the hearts. By the way, when you want to remember what we are about complementarity, look at your hearts. Put your hearts like this. Look at them. Are you aware that these hearts are not the same? I don't know whether you know this. These hearts are not the same. This is the right heart, this is the left heart. If they were the same, they would be on the same side. Si ni kweli? So when you want to put them together, zikikuwa zinaenda namna gani? From the same side. Haziwezi shika kitu, zikikuwa zinasukuma kitu badala ya kushika. But now because they are opposite in design, then they can now help each other and pick something. That's the husband and the wife. So anytime you want to remember that, look at the hearts. See why they are able to meet. They are able to meet because they are opposite and they are complementary. Remember, this is stronger than this one. Yes? For a very serious purpose. But then they are able to meet each other because of the oppositeness. They are complementary. That is the husband and the wife. God and the church. Everything the same. Two, like this. But opposite, complementary. And that's why zinaweza ingiana namna gani? Namna hiyo. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So it is this complementarity that actually is supposed to make us able to appreciate the other person. We were saying about now the suitability and our understanding in the suitability. Our understanding too. The nature will take its course, but again, our understanding is supposed to be also there. So that we don't go home, alafu, another young brother, not younger than me, one time, akawa, he married a nice lady. He is also a good boy, a good man, eh? But you know, one time we met with him and akaniambia, yeah, he's very talkative. Very, very talkative. So alikuwa ananiambia, unajua saa zingine unaboeka. Unatoka kazini, unakuja unaambia mtu, na sahi anamaanisha bibi yake. Unakuja unamwambia vile huko kulikuwa sijui moja, ilikuwa wakati wa moja ama nini. Na vile kulikuwa ati ndiye anasema tu ndio peke yake na ananyamaza. Unasikia kuboeka. You see? Now, this is a suitable person for him. But he does not, the mind is not aware of the formula that was used. He's not aware. And expect that wao vile wanaongea kazini, huyu na hapa na pale, na pia akasema hivi, na pia akasema hivi. And I expect hiyo kitu ione kwa nyumba. That will not be suitable in marriage. It's okay in the business, in the working places, it's okay. But not in marriage. In marriage, the formula is a suitable helper. Not that. Help. Underline that word help. Yeah. Help what you need. And in fact, there are laws, many times the law of the husband or the wife, there are many times we don't appreciate it. Because it's addressing your need, maybe not your want. And you'll be surprised. Because sometimes we don't even know what we need. It's like medicine. We need medicine, ndio. Hata sindano tunahitaji wakati mtu ako mgonjwa. But do you like it? Do you want it? But you need it, Why? Unaenda because you lazima uende, sio? Watu wengine akisikia dawa atajaribu kutumia shortcut zozote, sijui hakuna tablet za aina hiyo, sijui kuna nini. But anahitaji nini? A strict doctor anamwambia hii haina, we don't have those other forms. It's only the injectable. Kwa hivyo ingia hapo. Na usipoteze, ingia hapo haraka utoe nini ukue tayari. Unajua they have no time to waste, by the way. So akuta uko tayari. Daktari sijui nini. Hii inadugango mahali fulani specifically. Kama mzuri. Sawa. Next. So what we need may not be exactly what we like. I'm saying may not be. May not be also what we want or what you like or what we enjoy. Part of it will be something that you don't need. For example, I'll give you another example. In the contrast or the complementarity, I want to give another example so that we can see it more clearly. A pessimist will be paired up with who? Now that we have understood complementarity, a pessimist is likely to be paired up with an optimist. Imagine. What does that mean really? Now practically kwa nyumba sasa. Can you imagine? You know what will be happening? Let's say maybe is a guy that is optimistic, the optimist. You know the optimist, somebody described the optimist this way. Winston Churchill. He said, the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. In every opportunity, the pessimist sees. And this a natural inclination. They can't help it. That's the way they are orientated naturally. That's what they can see. If they are honest with you, that's what they are seeing. So the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. And those are the people that are about to marry each other. So I want you to imagine a scenario in the home now. And this is complementary, the way it's supposed to be. Do you know what will be happening? And you know they don't also understand that this are pessimist, this are an optimist. You know they don't understand. Because they don't understand. People don't understand themselves. So they'll be thinking there is a problem. Because there's a guy, the guy comes very optimistic. Ameona a business deal mahali. Ameona hiyo opportunity vizuri sana. Because he sees opportunities in difficulties. Anaona. Now that's what they can see. At their best. Then they come, hii hata tukiweka hiyo biashara. Sweetie hiyo kitu nimeona iko sawa. Sweetie naye anaangalia hiyo kitu hivi. From their angle. And that's where they belong. Anakuuliza, lakini ndugu, umeconsider kitu fulani? Unajua hiyo shamba inaweza kuwa hata sio ya hao watu. Walikuonyesha nini? Walikuonyesha title deed yake. Sasa wewe kila wakati unapingaga. Sasa title deed ni ya nini sasa wewe? Haya, utajaganywa. Nenda ukanunue na hiyo optimism yako. Unaweza ngongwa. Alikuwa hapo ndio akusaidie. But if you don't understand, this will be a suitable help for you. Kwa sababu ya orientation yako. Orientation yako unaonanga mambo yote inawezeka? Na yule mwingine anakuonyesha kwa nini isiwezeka? Yes, and that's what you need. Seriously, that's what you need. That's a helper that is suitable for you. But because we don't understand this marital formula, we go home after the wedding, after a while, after the dust settles, then we start thinking we got the wrong person. Maybe the character is okay, that one is okay, but then you are noticing something else. Every time unasema hii, naye anasema hivi. Na akirudi tena awe she is in the family way, hiyo kitu inazidi. Hizo hormones zikileta shida nazo. Kila wakati ni kama anapiga kila kitu. Mpaka unaanza kuchelewa kukuja nyumbani. Yaani kila wakati ni kama kuna kitu inakuudhi. It's simply because you're not understanding God's formula for marriage. So let me not do so much there. I was just giving an example along the way. So what are we saying? We are saying we just have to understand ourselves first. And when we understand ourselves, then we know first of all what we expect even to come our way. With that understanding of who we are, how we are made, then we understand what is complementary to us. I was actually explaining what is complementarity. Why we need to look for that complementary wife or husband. That was just the part I was trying to bring out so that we can now appreciate that quote or that part that we are advised to use. So, look at also this other part. Another important thing about the person because of the contrast and complementarity. The prophet was telling us you should go. Now, we read another time that you should go and find out their background. See where they were, their cradle, where they were programmed from. You have to do that study up to that far, so that you understand them. Not that you may undermine them, but that you may understand who this is. And we said the other day, you can marry anybody as long as you are convinced that you understand them. And you have proven that really I understand this person. Then that takes care of expectations. You not be having unrealistic expectations from the person. You know what to expect from them. Maybe this person, in their home, they usually don't say thank you, even when you do. And it's a programming. And they are normal, they are okay. But you are, of course, somebody is happy, they will smile or do something like that. And they are okay. But in your place, you had to say it. You have to verbalize it. Say thank you. Like a friend of mine again was telling me, brother, a very close friend of mine, I usually have a problem when I'm not told thank you. And then sometimes I emphasize it until my wife tells me, asante kwa sababu najua unataka tu nikwambie thank you. Unaona hiyo vitu sasa? Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's affecting the person. So I asked him now, because I have an idea of where the programming happens. It usually happens during the formative years in the background. And that time, reasoning has not developed. So what happens is that those things that we take them in just as they are and swallow them as they are. Whatever was happening there, we took it and swallowed wholly. And it was placed in our unconscious mind. It is in the mind, but in the unconscious part of the mind. So we are not even aware. But because it is in the mind, it is actually expresses in our behavior. But we are unaware of it. That's why when we say we ask the examples of behavior of habits. That's why you don't know your habits, by the way. Yet those people who know your habits, because it keeps repeating itself. But it doesn't go through the conscious mind. So the mind is not aware. We are not aware of habits, by the way. By the way, we are not able to observe ourselves. That's why, do you know your walking style, by the way? Do you know how you walk? Can you describe how you walk? You walk like so and so. Whom do you walk like? Do you know your walking style? You have never seen it, unless you recorded a video. You cannot even describe your own face, by the way, because you can't see it. You can't see your own face. You only see it when it is reflected in the mirror. But you can, or can you look at yourself? Can you look at your face? Look at your face first. Maybe I'm trying to go ahead and creaming things. Look at your face, your own face. Are you able? Who hasn't been able to see their face? So why? So basically that's what we are talking about. So we are saying, by not being able to see ourselves and not able to observe ourselves naturally, we have never observed that habit. By the way, we are not even able to listen to our voices. That's why we don't know our own voices. Unless you went an extra mile, recorded it many times and listened to it and studied it. You don't know, naturally you don't know your voice. You can't listen to your voice. And I'm sure, because we have phones, I think most of you are able to access a phone. When you listen to that voice recorded in a phone, you cannot identify with it. Unasema, ai, kama ni yangu iko na shida mahali. Haina shida. Ni wewe uko na shida. Ni wewe huijui. You give to someone else kwambia si ni wewe. Yule anajua voice yake anajua. So this is what we are talking about. By not knowing ourselves, by the inability to observe ourselves, then what that means is that we don't know who is complementary to us. This is something that happens to us. Thank you. So we are saying, the more we understand ourselves, just like Christ understands himself, the more we can pick the suitable helper, the suitable mate for ourselves. That's why Christ has never compromised. All these 6,000 years, he is doing what he is doing because first of all, he knows whom he is looking for. Because he knows who he is. He knows how he is. And he knows what he is looking for. By the way, Christ is the head. And he is looking for a body. He is not complete without that body. So he looks at who can fit in my body. Because I'm the head. Just like the man. When you know exactly how you are, you have an idea of the kind of a head you would be. That gives you an idea of the kind of a body that kind of a head can fit on and can manage. Don't try to take something you cannot manage. You'd look at a lady somehow, you see, I cannot fit up on her as a head. And you don't fit, atakusaidia kukuongoza, atasaidia kuongoza because anaona kuna mambo mengine na kushida sana. So it will be hata kuwa na option. Anaona wakati umengangana vile kile umetoa bado kiko chini kidogo. Kushida yake na yeye si kishwa, lakini anaona hii iko na shida. So atakusaidia. So it's very important to understand exactly who you are, what you have and what you don't have. And part of it you can also get it from the background. Because even in the background there was no father figure. You are supposed to understand what that meant in your programming. If there was no mother figure in your background, you should have an idea of what that meant to you in the programming. Whether you are the lady or the man. So that's why we are saying, how is our chain? How am I? What are my weaknesses? That is something that you can trace its roots from the background. But when we cannot interpret that, then we will be having a problem. Maybe the helper is suitable for us, but we think they are nagging, they are wanasubua, wanafanya nini. Just simply because we don't understand ourselves. So we cannot understand who is complementary to us when we don't know how our condition, when we don't know what can complement us, can make us complete. What is lacking in me? That is what is going to be provided by the partner. But if I don't know what it is, then how am I going to appreciate the help when I don't think I need it? When I think I don't need it, yet it is what I need. This is something that seriously takes a heavy toll on marriage. That lack of that understanding of the marital formula that God did in the Garden of Eden. It's very important to understand ourselves. Then we know this is the way I am and this is the way I'm not. Then when you find her that other way, remember that is exactly the way she is supposed to be or he is supposed to be for the situation that you are in. And God has actually addressed that by that kind of. That's why you find a guy that is reserved. Very reserved or reserved. Mara nyingi anapata bibi wa aina gani? Si mmekuwa mkiona? Si formula mmeijua sasa? Hata mnaionanga bibi yake anakuwa na maana gani? Si yako expressive? Kwani mnaogopa? See, these are natural facts. These are facts, Alafu, do you know what the guy does? Anafikiria baadaye anafikiria kuna shida mahali. So anatorokanga nyumbani. Most of them are the ones that drink. I've been carrying out some very good fact finding. Most of the drunkards, I'm saying most, not all, they are reserved men. So they think the wife is actually outdoing many things kwake. And you know, that is naturally going to happen. Anytime they have an argument, who will win the argument? See, the expressive one. Because they have many words, Huyu anasema na anasema polepole words zake. So finally who has said more? Nani amepata points mingi? Yes. Then wanaanza kuhepa, anafikiri kuna shida. Because the man now, because of the ego, they don't want the wife to look like ndiye anasema mambo. So I met one lady I met several, but one of them tulikutana naye kwa gari. Tulikuwa tunafanya kazi na yeye na mwingine tulikutana naye kwa gari. So when I told her the formula, tulikuwa tunaongea, akaniambia what is happening, nikamwambia formula hiyo. How nature does, pairs the people. Sasa akaniambia, kwani unajua bwana yangu? Nikamwambia mimi hata tumekutana mara ya kwanza. Huyo alikuwa kwa gari. Nikamwambia mimi sikujua. Hata alishangaa. Almost afikiria mimi ni prophet wa aina fulani. Nikamwambia hapana. This is nature. I'm just telling you how nature is. I don't even know your husband. Ni wewe tu nimeona vile unaongea, nikaona vile uko expressive, nikasuspect bwana yako ni reserved. Kaniambia kwani unamjua? Nikamwambia simjui. Akaniambia kwa hivyo kabisa. Hata sasa hii naenda huko, amekataa kuja kutoka kazini, amekataa kuwa akija, sasa naenda huko. Sasa nikamwambia, do you know what you're going to do to get this guy back on his feet? You know what you're going to do? Amekuwa akifukuswa na this expressiveness, so his ego is being injured. The man akona ego, akona kitu anasikia ndio anatakana kuongoza, and it's natural. You cannot do anything about it. So what is going to happen? Because of the gap here, nakaa kama ameasha, speed yake ni dogo, kompyuta yake inafunguka polepole na words chache, ingine imefunguka haraka. Unaona? Sasa nini tunagojea? And you know, the other thing about the psychology of the lady, which is also natural, these things we are saying are natural. So we are not saying them to belittle anybody. It's just to understand nature. When we understand it, then we know how to handle it, isn't it? So now, for the lady, usually because they are said by the experts, why psychologists wanasema, they think from the two sides, the two hemispheres, the same time. They're able to multitask. Those who unaona, anaweza kuwa akiongea na kuna kitu kingine anatengeneza hapa. Men hardly, most of the men hawezi chikanisha vitu mbili. Kama anaongea vile naongea hapa hivi, ni hapo. Hawezi chika kitu kingine yeye inaendelea hapa akifanya yote vile ataharibu. Yeah, but the lady is made that way because she is a mother, and the mother is supposed to have several tasks, related ones, happening together. So God had to make a provision, a natural provision for her. Anaweza kuwa kinyonyesha na kuna kitu anapika hapa, agefanyaje? So God had to make that provision. Anaweza kuwa anaongea na simu na kuna kitu kingine atengeneza hapa. Sometimes they are very good secretaries kwa sababu ya hiyo. Anafanya a few things. Men normally, majority of the men, anafanya kitu moja at a time. Kijaribu kuchanganya ataharibu kila kitu. So, because of that multitasking ability or capacity, now the problem only comes when they are dealing with the man now. When dealing with the children ni sawa. Unaona? Because she is made that way to be a mother and take care of her role using natural provisions. But that same nature has a problem when he is handling the man. Because the husband is not one of the children. It's a big child. So ataki, they don't want to be mothered. So what happens is that when they are talking, and especially if the man is reserved, because the lady is that way, whether she is reserved or expressive, she'll be doing that. But now, if she is